Welcome back. Quarter after the top of the hour on this Monday morning. GOP presidential candidate Herman Cain has had kind of a tough week. His recent comments on abortion have taken center stage, and many have been asking where he stands. Take a listen.
It's not the government's role or anybody else's role to make that decision. It ultimately gets down to a choice that that family or that mother has to make. Not me as president, not some politician, not a bureaucrat.
I would not sign any legislation that in any way allowed the government to be involved in it. I would strengthen all of our current laws that prevent abortion. I believe that abortion should be clearly stated and illegal across this country.
And we're joined now by former CEO of Godfather's Pizza, 2012 presidential candidate as well, and author of This is Herman Cain. Herman Cain, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gretchen.
So I know you've had some difficulty with the abortion issue. Here's my question for you this morning. Should abortion be a part of the political discussion?
No, it should not, quite frankly, but my position is real clear, Gretchen, and it's been consistent. I am pro-life. That first clip that you played was taken out of context.
In what way?
And it was taken out of context in that prior to that, I stated I am pro-life. Life begins at conception. The way it was taken out of context is that the reporter was trying to pigeonhole me on, but what if it's your daughter or your granddaughter and you're in one of these situations that is a life or death situation, life of the mother, life of the child, and on and on and on. And I simply said, if you get pushed to that extent, the family isn't going to be thinking about what the laws are at that point. They're going to be thinking about that family member, that baby. That's what I mean by it was taken out of context. There's no uncertainty, Gretchen. I'm pro-life, period.
And would you, and then Wolf Blitzer had this hypothetical story of what if they took an American hostage and they said, we want all the prisoners in Gitmo out for that hostage. You said you'd do the deal. Could you put that in context?
I'd be happy to. We were talking about the decision that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had made to exchange one soldier for those Palestinians, soldier for those Palestinian prisoners. He did a quick redirect and referred to Gitmo, and in the heat of getting ready for a debate and everything else, I didn't stop and think that Gitmo is where we hold terrorists. So I misstated. So I misspoke relative to that. But then I went back and corrected and said, as president, we will not negotiate with terrorists. I made a misstatement because of a quick redirect, and I've said that, and that's why I said it, but we will not negotiate with terrorists.
That's pretty clear right there. Now, Mr. Cain, with those two clarifications that you just made right there, and I know you did make them last week as well, some have said, look, we know all about Herman Cain's 999 plan, but then when he talks about other stuff, he's got to clarify because he hasn't quite developed a strategy on things. And people have said, well, he's just not ready for prime time. And you respond to that, how?
Find a perfect candidate or a perfect person who will not, at points in time in a presidential campaign, not make a misstatement, and I'll show you somebody that was hung on the cross 2,000 years ago. Here's my point. Yes, you're going to have those moments because of the pace of the campaign and because of how quickly some of the questions come. But here's what they need to know about Herman Cain. If I make a misstatement, I'm going to say that I made a misstatement. If something is taken out of context, I would be happy to explain the context in which it was taken out of and also explain what I meant. That's what you can believe about Herman Cain.
Yeah, and part of it could be that you were actually in the lead, and so that's usually when people really come after you with the more tough questions.
Maybe that had a little bit to do
and the
with
tougher
it.
scrutiny. We understand that. So when we come back, Herman Cain addresses his media critics who say he's demeaning black voters by joking about race. You don't want to miss that. Herman Cain is known for connecting with audiences with his sense of humor, but some black critics believe he's using old stereotypes. Listen to this.
Hello, Bartlett, Tennessee. Shucky ducky.
The flavor of the week might have some substance. Black walnut isn't a flavor of the week.
We're back with 2012 presidential candidate Herman Cain. See, I think this is what people love about you, Mr. Cain, is that you tell it like it is, you're self-deprecating, And now there's this article written about you that actually your racial discussion by calling yourself Black Walnut Ice Cream is actually your ploy to try and get white people to like you. What do you make of that?
That is absolutely false and ridiculous. Gretchen, obviously because I've moved up in the polls, people are looking for ways to bring me down. I am who I am. And when Herman Cain, makes fun of himself, and Herman Cain uses analogies like black walnut ice cream, there's no hidden meaning there. It is what it is. And, as far as, some of the rhetoric that I have been accused of relative to, saying that black people, some of them are brainwashed. And if they look at the whole tape, so I stand my ground. Some of them are brainwashed because they won't consider another alternative. But I always say, the good news is a large percentage of black people are thinking for themselves. That's all I'm trying to do. But my sense of humor, it's not going to go away, so they may as well get used to it.
There you go. You've got a great sense of humor. Mr. Cain, let me ask you about something regarding your 999 plan. At the last debate, they beat you like a piñata. They let you have it pretty good, saying that Americans simply don't have an appetite for a 9% national sales tax. And then a day or so later, there was an item in the National Review Online, the corner blog, that said that Stephen Moore from the Wall Street Journal, who helped you with your 999 plan, he was suggesting scrap the 9% national sales tax and replace it with a 9% payroll tax. Anything to that?
No, absolutely not. Now, Steve is a good friend, and we did run the idea past him, but he didn't really help us develop it. We ran it past Art Laffer. And as you know, Art Laffer wrote a very nice article that was published in the Wall Street Journal saying that the 999 plan was solid. We would not change it to a 9% payroll tax because that defeats the purpose. Number one, we wanted to expand the base. That's what we do with the sales tax piece. And number two, we wanted to get rid of the biggest tax that a lot of people pay, which is the payroll tax.
Sure.
And since 999 gets rid of 5 taxes, payroll tax, personal income tax, corporate income tax, estate tax, as well as the capital gains tax, we want to leave it just like it is, so there's no merit to, we're going to switch it to something else.
All right, Herman Cain, the other problem you have is you didn't, because you run a lean campaign and you was in single digits in support, you didn't have much money. Now you have money, but you have no infrastructure in Iowa and New Hampshire in particular, even though you're doing well in Iowa. What have you done to change that?
Well, the people who say I have no infrastructure, and remember 2 months ago they said that I didn't have a chance, well, here again, they're dead wrong. We have dramatically increased our staff in Iowa. We are covering the state, not only with paid people for the various congressional districts, but also the number of volunteers. We are well organized in Iowa. And for the people who say that we are not organized in Iowa or we don't have the infrastructure, ask them to take a look at the latest Des Moines Register poll, okay? I think we'd have to have more than 1 or 2 people on the ground in order to be able to do that. So all of the people who are speculating about this campaign, most of it, quite frankly, is unfounded.
You have established a new business model for running for president of the United States, Herman Cain.
Yes, I have. And the new business model is spend money that you have. Don't overextend yourself because, see, in the first reporting period, you know that we reported very small amount of cash on hand, but no debt. Second reporting period, we raised $2.8 million, which was way in the back of the pack, but no debt. That's because we are running it lean and mean, and this is how we're going to continue to run it.
That would be a good way to run a country, wouldn't it?
I was just going to say that. And I see you have your trademark gold tie on as well, which many people have written about for some unknown reason. Other than it looks good. Herman Cain, always great to speak with you. Have a fantastic day.
It's my pleasure. Thanks to all of you.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right.